All right. Welcome to the lab, episode 16. We're here and we got a special guest, Des. Hi.
Hi.
And here with Cody. Hi,
What's up?
Cody. All right. So, how y'all doing this week?
Lovely. How are you?
Good.
Good. I mean, I just got back from vacation last night, so I'm about as happy as a clam. So,
A very tan clam.
Clam, yeah. I got like so toasted the first time, like the first day, and then like the rest of the time I either was in the water or under our little like pavilion thing. So I'm like, I don't even know how I got tanner, but okay, I'll take it.
You're not going to need to do much for your next show.
I know, like your
Yeah,
tanning abilities I'm very jealous.
It's insane.
But yeah, how you guys been in the real world this week?
Well, nothing too crazy here. I just got to spend time with the puppy, which was great. So that was the highlight of my week. Yeah. So Des, your substitute was a puppy, but welcome back. So now we have
cute.
a complete family now.
That's
Yeah. So nothing exciting over here, honestly. Same old.
You got your MRI for your shoulder, right?
I did, and I read it a bit too optimistically on my own, apparently. Because I was like, yeah, nothing's torn. This is great. Like, I don't know, it just didn't seem like there was much in there that was found. But then my doctor must have like compared it to other things or just reviewed it himself, and then was like, oh, there's bursitis and what else did he say? I can't remember.
edema.
Yeah, well, that's like just swelling in the AC joint. So basically he just wants me to come back in to like try to put the puzzle pieces together and like re-examine my shoulder so he can like really figure out what's going on. My physical therapist seems to think that he might offer maybe like a cortisone shot, or she said something she sees less frequently but has seen is they do like a 6-day oral round of steroids to try to like knock out some of the inflammation. So I mean, that would be my preference, because cortisone shots scare me because they tend to, like, if you do them too much, they can weaken your tendons, and I'm like, I don't need that. Like, can you imagine like tearing something after a cortisone shot or something? So yeah, that's just the latest update.
Yeah, that sucks. But hey, I mean, it's not like an obvious tear or anything, so you still got hope. So
yeah, there's still like a lot of like good that came from it. Just knowing that like nothing is torn is great, because usually nothing's torn, that means at least no surgery, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's probably just kind of a time thing and trying to get the inflammation down. So we'll figure out what to do from here, I guess.
Yeah.
If you can avoid surgery, that would be amazing.
Right.
Oh yeah,
maybe you can get a 2-for-1 though and get your like shoulder and your knee done at the same time.
I know, right? I would have a really hard time on crutches though. That would be interesting.
God, yeah.
I would just like have to wheelchair, but I don't know how I get up my steps.
I can just carry you.
Yeah, there you go. Which is a great segue into how we wanted to introduce you and hear about all your super gains and your badass journey.
Who's introducing me?
Yeah, that's me. So we have Des on here today, just to talk about her journey and all this. So like, I was kind of bragging about you to Cody, even though I don't need to, and I was like, well, Des is like the ultimate like client that everybody like. Well, no, here. So
go ahead.
Let me start. I'll wrap it back in. So I was like, Des has everything that everybody always complains about when they're like, they're doing stuff, and they're like, they always use like, they're busy for excuses. They work, you've kids. It's like, you have a lot on your plate. Like, you're a busy lady. And I'm just in awe because you've made such great progress in not very much time. And it's just like, it's a real testament to your willpower and your time management and like your strength of character to like make all this happen. And I think, and that's what I was like, man, you'd be awesome to have on, because like, you're the shining star of like yes, every like you can do it, and put your
Aw,
mind to it. You got
you're gonna
this.
make me cry.
Oh no, that's not my intention. But
I
did
appreciate
I
that.
miss anything, Cody? Did you want to say anything else before we kind of let Des tell her story?
No, it's just funny because I know that was probably super uncomfortable for her because she always is so hard on herself.
Mm.
And so it's like, but I don't think she realizes, like, even in the times where she's kind of like maybe not as motivated or maybe just like maintained or whatever, that is like, you know, that is actually a lot, and that is progress. A lot of people can't really make it through those points. Like, it's always, I can't do this, I'm gonna stop, or it's not worth or whatever. But she just kind of keeps writing it out. And I feel like that is probably like her biggest thing, that is like she just hasn't quit. And it's almost like she's come to these points where, like, sometimes, you're just doing the best you can, even if that means just, keeping things even. And other times it's like, when you can put your foot on the gas, then she'll put her foot on the gas. So it's just kind of something that people need to realize, that life will throw things at you, but you got to just learn how to pivot or accept that in the moment, that it's going to be more challenging at times. So I just think that she's handled that so well.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Coach.
now we're putting the spotlight back on you. So can you just give us a little synopsis of like how you kind of got with Cody, and like you worked through all, like, kind of just your background essentially? Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry to
Did we
interrupt.
lose Kel's?
Yeah, Kel, your
mic?
microphone, I think, came unplugged or something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Sorry. So sorry about that. No, so I just wanted to, if you could just give us a little bit of your background, Des, and kind of like how you came to all this, and just kind of your journey in short, I guess.
Sure. Well, I was born and raised in Texas, which is a recipe for obesity.
They do have good food there.
Texas and trauma. And unlimited
TTs.
access. Yeah, and unlimited access to snacks and sweets, and a parent who didn't really know how to emotionally be there for me, so she just kind of fed me to help me feel better. I had a lot of issues in my younger youth, with an abusive parent and stuff like that. So I pretty much instantly started going to food from the day I was able to eat and drink.
Yeah.
I weighed 100 pounds in third grade. And I was bullied pretty much my entire life in church and school. I was always just called the fat, ugly kid. And even through high school, I was bullied. My ex-girlfriend, her father bullied me. Anytime I would put anything in my mouth that wasn't like a vegetable, he would be like, "Do you need to eat that?" And like, he didn't want my girlfriend to be friends with me because he was afraid I was going to be a bad influence on her. So like, I had like years and years and years of like people telling me I wasn't good enough and I was too fat and all these things. And then like, I was in the plus size clothing at like age 9, like I outgrew little kids' clothes. And it was a really, really long struggle of like a lot of self-hatred. I ate. And in high school, I actually had an eating disorder where I binged and then just went through up. And I think freshman year, I started that, and it only lasted about 2 years, but I lost a lot of weight and I got really sick. And then once I stopped that, I gained all the way back and more. And so I went through high school, and it was a real struggle between that and being, at that time, I had come out as gay. I was dating a girl. It was just, I was bullied left and right, and it was a really, really hard time. And then I got out of high school and went to college. And I, like, they talk about the freshman 15. Mine was more like the freshman 30. I had moved away from home. I was anxious, and I didn't know I had anxiety. So like, part of the issues I was dealing with was actually anxiety, but I was using food to numb that because I was so uncomfortable in so many ways. And I just ate and ate. And I got up to 280 pounds in 2019. At the end of 2019, I was 280 pounds. And I was pre-diabetic. I actually ended up with gestational diabetes in my last pregnancy, and ended up having an emergency C-section because of that. And I know for a fact that my weight had a huge, huge impact on my pregnancies. And it was very hard. And I actually almost lost my baby because of it, because of the gestational diabetes. So, yeah. So 2019 came, and I had kind of talked to a doctor about losing weight. I actually ended up starting a program through Kaiser to get ready to have weight loss surgery. And I was not telling anybody. I was just doing whatever I needed to do. I took the classes. I did the psychiatric evaluation. And I was told by the doctor that I needed to lose 20 pounds. So I did that. And I got ready. And then 2020 hit. And 2020 was like the worst, best year of my life. The day, pretty much the week that COVID exploded, my mother was diagnosed with T-cell all leukemia, which is one of the most dangerous leukemias you can face. It's pretty much incurable, and most people don't survive it. So I went into like panic mode and eating mode again. And I didn't gain the weight back because I would go between binging and then like not eating for like days at a time because I was so anxious, because I was dealing with this pandemic on top of like my mother, who was like probably not going to survive. And so it was a really, really rough few months for me. It was like Friday the 13th of March through the day my mom died, pretty much, which was July. So it was a very short amount of time. But during that time, I watched my mom just struggle and fight, and her weight had such a hard, it just made it so hard for her to move. To not only was she weak from the chemo and everything, but she just, I feel like when somebody gets sick, if they have a better baseline, right, of health, they do better, right? They have a better prognosis. But like mom was so weak and so tired because she was already like pre-diabetic, super overweight. And so like, it was like a recipe for disaster. So basically I shut the world out really, and took care of my mom for those 4 months. And then she passed away on July 8th, which was just 2 days ago. It was 2 years ago. And that was a real big turning point for me. A lot happened. Pretty much within a few weeks, I decided I couldn't, after the funeral, really, I just was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I realized that I had spent every ounce of energy depleting myself for everybody else, and giving everything and not taking care of myself. And I was in a terribly unhappy marriage. I was lonely. I was sad. And I was just eating to try to heal all those things. Right. And I woke up one day after, Cody and I had reconnected and started talking, and I was like, do you want to work with me? And it's funny because I think we tried to do this like twice before. Was that right?
Yeah.
Was it twice before? But I was like not in it. I was not ready. I had 2 little kids. I was basically a single mom, to be honest. Like my ex will probably listen to this and hate me for it, but I really was. like, I had a very isolated, lonely life. And I was very busy and very tired and not ready mentally to do the work that I needed to do.
Mhm.
But after seeing my mom lose her life like this, I was like, dude, I can't live like that anymore. Like, that's going to be me. Right? If I lived the way my mom was living, which is exactly the way I was living, I was giving everything of myself, doing everything for everybody else, completely neglecting myself. I'm going to end up like that woman. Right? And I don't know that leukemia came out of nowhere. Like there's no signs that it's coming. It comes on out of nowhere. And I was like, dude, you could be that sick tomorrow. Like, what are you doing? So I was like, basically, will you give me a chance and work with me? And luckily he said yes. And the journey started. And I was amazed how easily it was hard, but it was like, it gave me something to focus on. It gave me something to like be motivated about. And instantly I was feeling better when I started eating properly. All I had to do was do what my coach said, and it worked.
Imagine that.
It's magic, you guys. It's magic. And so I just started doing the work, and seeing the changes. And I remember the first month, Cody would have strangled me, I think, if I was next to him when he got my check-in, and I was like, I don't see any progress. Do you remember that, babe?
I do remember that.
He was so mad. He like blew me up on Instagram about that, because I was still like, I'm so hard on myself, but I was just like, I don't see anything. And then he was like, are you kidding me? So the weight fell off pretty quickly, but it did. The honeymoon lasted longer for me than it does a lot of people, but it did slow, and it did get harder, and life really got hard, and it has been quite the journey. Now I'm down to, I should say, what was I, like 260 when we started?
Yeah.
I had to lose 20 pounds before. So I had lost 20 pounds before, but I was 260 when we started. Yesterday I weighed and I'm like 203. So
Damn.
like, that's pretty good.
Fuck yeah, it is.
And it's
Pretty
it's
good. Come on.
It's decent.
Yeah.
But it's funny because, like when I go to work to my office, because of COVID, we never go in. But when I do go, half the time people don't recognize me. And like they double take, because they're like, you're literally half a person. And I'm like, I only lost like 50 pounds. And they're like, only 50 pounds.
You also have to consider, though, like, you are so much stronger at the same time, because I mean, you've definitely put on muscle, and you're stronger than like a lot of the guys that I work with. Somehow, like, you're kind of a bit of a freak of nature in that aspect.
Thanks.
But in a good way.
Cute.
Like, you're strong, you put on muscle, and like, so it that 50 pounds isn't just like, it's only 50 pounds. It's like 50 pounds, but also like you transformed. Like, you look so much different.
Yeah, that's true, because it's like, I think it's probably more than 50 pounds, because I get what you're saying, because I've put on so much muscle, and muscle is so much heavier.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish you could see it. I struggle a lot now with body dysmorphia because of all of my loose skin. And to be completely honest, sometimes I'll see a picture of myself and say, who is that? Because I still see myself as that like big, huge woman, right? Like I still
mirror trick.
Yeah. And then like I'll stand next to Cody in a photo, and I'm like, oh, I'm not that big anymore. Like I actually look pretty good. So anyways, yeah, that's my story.
That's awesome.
Just kind of still going at it. I guess, you want me to talk about Texas and that whole situation and when I learned, or what do you
Yeah. So like Des and I were talking a bit about her trip to Texas, and it was like one of these, like, because she's always so hard on herself, and essentially anything outside of perfect she's going to be hard on herself about. But then, we were talking about her trip to Texas and some of the realizations she had, so I was like, that'd be really good if you could share that with us. So for sure. Please do.
So the last time I've been to Texas was in 2019 to visit family, an aunt who was dying, actually. And every time I've been to Texas before, I've lived in California for going on 12 years, I think, or something like that. So a long time. And every time I've been to Texas before, I pretty much go into like old Desi mode, right? You go into your old self real quick when you get home with your family, and you're in your hometown with all your food that you usually eat. And I would like go ham on everything when I would go before, like even back in October of 2020, when I went with Cody to summer shredding in Houston. I was in Texas and I wanted all the things. I didn't do it because like I was with him, but I wanted it. And it was really
you
hard.
guys, let's just hold on. I was in the gym the day before my competition.
Oh,
I
I
come
did
out,
do that.
you motherfuckers are eating ice cream in the car.
We sure were. No, to be fair, it was Cal's birthday. And we went to Walmart and we got like, have you had Bluebell ice cream? You were in Austin.
Yeah,
You had Bluebell.
yeah.
That
I've had
shit
Bluebell.
is like, you cannot compare that shit to anybody's ice cream. Like, it is the best ice cream. And so we got like 4 or 5 pints and had a little like ice cream buffet in the car while we were waiting for him during his little summer shredding orientation. But we didn't eat the whole thing. Like, we just tasted the flavors and it was fantastic. So anyways, so usually when I go to Texas, I go ham, and I probably gain like 5-10 pounds when I'm there because I just fucking eat, because like that's what I do. But this time I did not have those urges. I was not like, I have to get a Whataburger or I'm gonna die. I didn't have to go eat all the donuts and drink all the sweet coffees and like do the things that I like literally always have done. It was not an urge. I did get some Bluebell. I got a few flavors and I tried them with my boys, but I didn't go crazy. Like I was just like, I even went to the fucking store and got a rotisserie chicken and rice, which is like, that's not me. That was not the old me. Right. And so in the middle of that, I was like, who am I these days? Like, this is crazy. Like, these are new habits that like, I did not realize that like were really instilled in me, but it felt so good. I felt like empowered, like, okay, you have changed. Like, you haven't done as well as you would like to, but you have changed. And that's huge for me. I didn't go and like binge and just like come home feeling like shit. And that was so cool. Even when we went to restaurants, I didn't just like order like the worst, grossest fried things I usually would order. Listen, in Texas, everything is fried and it's covered in gravy and it's fantastic. But oh my God, do you feel like shit after,
Right.
But instead I got the rotisserie chicken, and the rice and the salad, and I enjoyed it because like that's my happy place now. Like, when I'm in my routine, eating the things I know I need to be eating and making them the way that they can taste decent, like I enjoy it and I'm more at peace and I'm just better off. Yeah,
I think because I had a similar experience, not exactly the same, but like, so I don't I think after prep I went on vacation right away, and that I went ham. But like,
yeah,
I just got back from Florida last week, and like I didn't eat any. Like, I ate some like vacation snacks. Like, I had a couple of like the shitty trail mixes like at the beach, like the with M&Ms in them or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, that's like the worst thing I had. Like, I would have we went out to eat and I would get chicken, like grilled chicken and like broccoli or something. Like, it's different than I would like. It's gonna be oily and I'm not gonna worry about it. But like, I didn't feel the need to like. And that was the change. Like, exactly
isn't that crazy?
It's like, I don't miss it. Like, it's like I would rather just feel good like in the next morning, and my emotions weren't tied into it. And I think that's one thing that people don't eat, like, because I'm sure you've heard it, and like I know I've heard it, and it's like, oh, I don't want to eat like that. That doesn't look like fun. And I'm like, yeah, but eating isn't necessarily the only way you can have fun. Like, like, and I think that's what people don't understand who don't like get the healthy lifestyle or whatever. It's like, I don't miss it, and it's not because I don't have fun or like I'm okay with depriving myself. That's not what it's about. Like, it's more about I don't feel good when I have that food. So I might have a bite of it, or
exactly,
like every once in a while maybe, but like I'm only interested in like doing it if I really want the food, and it hardly ever is about the food, which is something I don't think I realized. Like, food was comfort for me before, or like I felt like I was missing out
Exactly.
on something. But now I'm just like, it's not. I get comfort elsewhere, and I think that's what people don't really get until
And
they
it
get it.
doesn't taste as good anymore.
It doesn't,
We were
because you
talking about that.
detach
It
the
doesn't,
emotion from it, I think.
yeah, it's not,
Mhm.
it doesn't give you that high that it used to, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. And I don't think people I don't think you can like logically understand that, because I don't like, it's something you have to have happen to
You have
you
to have
to
gone
get
through
it,
it. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Because I legit used to like, I used to like go through the drive-through when I was by myself and eat in my car and like
Yeah.
just like hide and then throw the food away, like
Mhm.
throw the evidence away and like and do shit like that. And I still have moments, don't get me wrong, when I'm like,
Yeah, it's not
I
perfect.
still have moments when I'm super stressed. Cody will be like, "Did you go to Taco Bell?"
What'd you order from Taco Bell?
What'd you order from Taco Bell?
That's just like,
uh,
yeah, and I think everybody knows that logically. Like, no one thinks that McDonald's is like 5-star food. Like, you don't go
No.
to McDonald's because it's like the tastiest thing you can get. You go because it feels like it's that quick endorphin hit or serotonin hit. It's not because
absolutely.
it's so tasty. The tasty
No.
part of it is what's in our head. Like,
Yeah.
it's the connection that
Yeah.
we've like forged to it.
Yeah. And it's almost like you just have to learn how to like recreate that feeling in like a healthier way, and
Yeah.
totally not easy. Like
It's
one
not
bit,
not easy at
like
all.
it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking, like a lot of people look at this as a form of deprivation, as you were talking about. But I think that feeling is probably more prevalent in the beginning. But once you are further along in the journey, it's actually becomes more of this feeling of freedom, because the food doesn't really have hold on you anymore in the way that it did
Yes.
previously, where you
Yes.
just
Oh my God.
like
Yes.
almost cannot help yourself, and you just are like craving that feeling constantly, and you're like, damn, why am I doing this? I'm depriving myself of
Yeah.
happiness. And it's
It
like,
was a source of anxiety.
Yeah.
yeah, well, anxiety, and because you're trying to change, but then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I need that hit. It's like that addiction.
It's an
Yeah.
addiction.
So but like, once it doesn't have that same hold on you, it like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, do you feel like you are deprived now from things that you want, or do you
No.
feel just more like balance in general?
I can eat anything I want. I just can't keep the really bad things in the house because I still don't have control. When it's in the house,
I
it's
don't think
gonna
many
get
people
eaten.
do.
No.
Yeah.
Like you guys were talking about was it last week on your like how to stay full when dieting stuff? Like
Uh-huh.
I still don't have control. Like I can't have Oreos in the house. I can't have cupcakes. I'll have like sometimes I'll have like lower calorie ice cream options for like when I would really need something. But I also feel like Cody, you've taught me so many more options for like treats that are like more accessible to my macro situation and kind of go-tos. And the fact that like when you eat the right amount of protein and you eat whole foods, you're fuller, you're not as hungry, you're not having those cravings.
Mhm.
When you're eating whole foods that are like nutritious to your body doesn't want it. It doesn't want, I mean, crumble cookies always going to be a problem, but other than that, no, it's like I don't feel deprived at all.
Yeah, and I think it's like the same thing as like people who like party, like young people who like their social is going to a bar. And because I had the same thing when I was like drinking socially, right? Like you associate the drink with the time, not with
Yeah.
the drink itself. So like that's the same reason why people can't drink tequila if they've gotten sick off tequila, right? Or something like that. It's all based like the food isn't what it's doing it's or the drink, it's what you've tied to it. And like
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
like Bud Light tastes good, but like I know a
Right.
lot of people who can down a 12 pack. Like it's not the
Yeah.
hit of the taste, it's not the sensation
No, it's
of the
how it
food.
takes you back to whatever comforting moment you
Exactly.
need.
Exactly. And I think that's that's where like the hint of deprivation, that's what you feel like
Yeah.
you're missing, not
Yeah.
necessarily the food itself.
Yeah.
Um,
And speaking of deprivation, can I just say, like, this moment in Texas really made me feel like, I was talking to Cody about this in the gym the other day. You know, this whole like health at every size movement, that's so anti-diet and like so like basically like diets fail, you can't lose weight, it's not sustainable, you're gonna fail. Like, I used to be on that movement, right? That was one of the main reasons I didn't, for so long I just kind of was like, whatever, I'm fine at my size, I'm happy, I appreciate I accept my body. I really didn't, and I really was not healthy. Like, that's cool that people think that they can be healthy when they weigh 300 pounds. But I know for a fact, when I was close to 300 pounds, my body was not healthy. My blood tests, my ability to play with my kids, all that really, really, it took a toll on me. And this whole movement was like, this all this saying that it's not sustainable and like, you're basically doomed to failure. It's fucking bullshit, because here I am, right? Here I am almost 2 years later. In August, it'll be 2 years I've been working with Cody, and I've lost this weight and I've kept it off with this stupid, stressful life, and I have no desire and no plan to go back. And so I just want to say, like, that was a huge moment for me in Texas when I realized that, like, I really am a different person now. And it is possible to change and to sustain these changes if you do it in a healthy manner. But like the Haze movement drives me crazy, because it feels like they're just coddling this community that needs help and like needs to know that like these things are not okay. Like, it's cool that you like your donuts and your cakes and stuff, but like you need mental help. You need to get your mind right and get to where you need to be mentally. And then it's not deprivation. You don't have to starve yourself. You can still eat so well and really enjoy your life and sustain these things and live healthier and live longer, Sorry, I just had to say that.
No, I get it. And I do think a lot of it is, I think people just it's just another one of those fitness things, like influencers on Instagram. It's just like, you have to look into what they're trying to sell you, because everybody on the internet and all these movements are trying to sell you something typically.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's better business in America if people aren't healthy.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
In all ways.
Yeah.
So
drugs, alcohol, food, all of it.
Food, if you can make money in healthcare, insurance, all of it. Like, so it's all a business. So I think people always have to look at it under that lens, and if it fits. And
yeah. And I mean, that's also a way that they even sell like weight loss surgery. It's because they often sell hopelessness, and it's like, you can't do this on your own.
Yeah.
And
I was
like, not to knock anyone who has done weight loss surgery, because it's still work. You still need to make changes.
Absolutely.
But there is a sense of like, I can't do this on my own kind of thing. But I think that the health at every size like started with good intentions, and I think that it should really be called like worthy at every size, and just leave it at that. It's just like, your size does not matter. It doesn't like
respect or anything like that.
Yeah, like, you are still supposed to be respected as a human at any time in your life. It's not due to your weight, anything like that. It's just, when you put health at every size, it does, like, that's factually incorrect. Even if you're too skinny, you are not healthy. It's like each end of the spectrum, like, that's just factually incorrect. So if we're just like, worth at every size, I'd be like, all right, cool, yeah, I can get behind that. But yeah, it's just because
it's not like I feel more worthy now that I'm smaller. No. I realize now that I was worthy the entire time, but I was also worthy of the work it took and prioritizing myself and the workouts I do. Let me tell you guys, I have so much guilt when I leave my kids at home to go to the gym, because they're always like, Mommy, why do you always leave? You don't get enough time with us. And then I just have to tell them, do you want me to be able to jump on that trampoline with you? to be able to chase you and pick you up as you get heavy. These boys are not small, but I can carry both of them at the same time. Okay.
That's
Like,
impressive.
do you want me to be able to play with you? Because if you do, this is what I have to do to take care of myself, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how I get, because I get so guilty. Like that mom guilt is like ingrained in me, but it's like, I know that if I want to stick around for my children, my mom was not even 60 years old when she died. You know, I'm 34. So if I think about it, like what, 26 years? That's it? No, fuck that.
Yeah.
Right? Fuck that. I would live till I'm like 80 or 90
Yeah.
or 100,
And it's
depending
like,
on if Cody kills me by then.
But also, you're setting such a good role model for your kids too by doing that. And it's like, not only you want them to take care of themselves, like when they're older, and like you want them to put themselves first and take care of themselves.
Absolutely.
And also, like, it's pretty badass that you're like a mom who lifts weights at the gym and is like outlifting dudes. Like, that's badass.
My
Like,
boys are pretty impressed. They think I'm pretty cool. Until they see Cody lifting, then they're like, why can't you do that? And I'm like, listen.
Steps.
like, well, it's a little
I'm
different.
trying, okay? Like, they think he's way cooler than me, but they do, like, sometimes they'll see like somebody really strong and they're like, that's like you, mom. And I'm like, yeah, that's like me.
But and like so what, like when things get hard, like what is your, like how do you process it? So say it was like a shit week at work, you have like the boys are and I don't know your children, but like wild or something, like it's just hard, like a hard time, like you're in the dumps, like you don't, like you just want to like everything's at the top, you know what I mean? Like how, what is your way of thinking through that? Like how do you approach, what would you do? What would be your approach?
I mean, it depends on the week. Some weeks, right. I'm not gonna lie, some weeks I go and buy a pack of Oreos.
I mean, life is life. So
but honestly, like if I've set myself up for success at the beginning of the week,
yeah,
I'm much more likely to just be like, well, you're already doing it, so just keep going, right? And a lot of times I'll say, well, I need to go for a run because I am stressed and I want to scream and throw things. So I'll go for a run. And I try really hard not to miss my workouts with Cody, because that is like church for me. Like it's therapeutic. It's when I feel like the most control over my body and my mind. And just like me at that barbell is like, it's my thing. You know, it's like when I'm like whole, I feel strong, I feel powerful. This week is a little rough because I was like recovering from the stomach flu, so I felt like a weak little bitch. But it's funny because even though like I felt like a weak little bitch, I was still lifting like a lot. So yeah, I just it's a struggle still. It's a struggle for sure, but I just try to like just keep going. And the most important thing that I think helps is I kind of have Cody in the back of my head saying like, okay, start fresh tomorrow. Like, big deal. Okay, today you fucked up, tomorrow's a new day. Go for it.
Yeah.
You know?
So is that your like back on the horse mantra? Would you
every
say?
Day? Yeah. Not every day, but you know what I mean? Like anytime I get off, I'll just be like, okay, tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do. But it's about those habits and like, you know, making those votes for the person you want to be and you are. And it's funny because it's like, I don't even think I'm still casting the votes for the person I want to be, but I'm also like, I am the person I want to be now, you know, just getting better day by day. So I just have to kind of remind myself, even when I'm really, really hard on myself.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, I mean, it is hard to do. It's like your mind and the mirror is like a trick. Like I don't know, like I was looking at it the other day on vacation because I was like not perfect. I didn't get to the gym as much as I wanted to, and like it's just like damn, but I'm okay. It's just one week. It's just a week.
right.
And it's
exactly.
just like I've realized that the new way I've been trying to do like focus my head is just like, oh, it's inevitable. It's just how fast are you gonna get there? It's kind of like the new way I'm just trying to, if you just make it like, well, it's gonna happen. It's just like how fast you want it. And
And honestly, like if I get off track for like a little longer than I really want to, which happens. I mean, I have this last year, like the last, I don't know, October through, I don't know, March was rough. And it was a real struggle for me. But like anytime anytime the scale starts to creep up, I'm like, no, we can't do that. I refuse. I'm like, I have worked so hard to get there, to get to where I'm at. And I'm not going to go back to where I was. I refuse to go back to that. One thing is like, this is a fight. I feel like I'll be fighting food addiction the rest of my life, but I just think about my mom and how she like literally fought to the end. And I have fought all my life. Yeah. I'm tired of fighting, but like, this is a fight I won't give up ever. I just have no interest in losing this one. And I don't lose. I always get what I want.
Like that. I like that. Awesome.
Just to like circle back a little bit, I was thinking about, how you, you mentioned you felt guilty when you leave your kids to go to the gym or whatever. But I can almost guarantee that if they kind of knew the situation, especially like with you and your mom, I know that you probably would have traded years with your mom for, like missing out on time with her for maybe an hour, 4 days a week or whatever, an hour or two, whatever. Absolutely. If you go into the gym, like just so she would be able to fight and you'd have her, longer. So maybe your kids don't quite understand that yet, but like I guarantee you, at some point they're going to be so thankful that like you kept yourself healthy, you took time to yourself because you're a healthier person, better mom for putting yourself first and not just letting yourself get drained and being resentful and all those lovely things that happen sometimes when you don't take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Not you specifically.
I agree. I know it does happen though. You're right. I have moments where I'm like, I'm not caring for myself enough. And then I am drained and I'll be like, Cody, I am so depleted right now. I have nothing, and it's just like, then I just got to take a step back, give it a minute and start doing the things I know I need to do. You're right though. Like I want them to see me prioritizing myself and taking care of myself because I want them to grow into humans that do that for themselves. I don't want them to put their partners and their children before all, right? Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Yeah, and exactly I have learned that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And you guys, before I left my ex, I was drowning. I had like one nostril above the water. And I had nothing to give, but now it's just like, I want them to grow up to be humans that like know the importance of caring for yourself and that you are worth the time you take to take care of yourself. You are worth it. So
love that. Yeah.
And also I was gonna say, so when we circle back to like the whole, you have basically every excuse available to you to use at any point in time. You are a single mom with 2 kids, you work full time, so like how do you not use those excuses? How do you still accomplish everything that you do like on a daily, weekly basis? What are your tips and tricks? Like maybe there's some other people out there that also have kids and they work full time, and like how do you juggle it all?
Insanity. I mean, so to be completely honest, I'm really lucky that I live with my dad and he is extremely supportive of my journey and my health, prioritizing my health. Anytime I ask him to go to the gym, he is cool with it. And I also have a flexible job where I can work the hours because I work from home. So I work the hours I need to work and then go to the gym. But honestly, even if I worked in the office, 8 to 5, I would just make it a priority because it's like my time for myself. It's my recharge time. So I don't know. I just realized my importance. And then I have to do it. And it's like, you make it not optional, right? It's not an option. You just know, like, this is my schedule. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to just not do it.
Do you so I used to have a lot of people who were like really bummed that they had to like make their own food and their kids' food, and it would be like separate, and they were very
about that.
into that. So do you do that? Do you have is it hard or?
So okay, that's a really good point. So when I first started out working with Cody, I did prep all my food. I would spend like all day Sunday cooking and packaging my food and everything. But especially once Avery started like school and stuff, like things got a lot crazier. So I luckily I'm fortunate enough to be able to purchase things like Trifecta and Factor meals. And we have a place Cody got me into. He got me a gift card once for Christmas, I think. It's called Fit Eats, where they deliver healthy meals. So I use those a lot because, well, to be honest, as expensive as groceries are these days,
that's a good point.
the meals that I get, like the cost comes out the same. To make the meals that I get, it would be like a lot more expensive to buy them, like to buy all the ingredients, and then time is money, right? And so I definitely use like meal prep services. I can do meal prep, and it is actually not very hard, especially like if you use your Instapot and you cook your meat or whatever and then cook your rice. You don't have to have like 5 different meals. You make 2 proteins and then rice and then veggies and you're set. So it's not that hard. It is a little time consuming, but again, it's prioritizing. So I do that. And then actually my kids also like my food that I get from the meal prep places. So a lot of times I'll give them that. And then every other day they want sushi. But yeah, I do use the meal prep programs a lot. And then, or if I don't have anything in the house, a lot of times I'll go grab a chicken and some microwave rice and make chicken and rice for dinner. And then how many days a week do I eat beef and rice for dinner?
And then she eats what I make.
And then Cody feeds me bodybuilding food.
Blair's so strong.
That's exactly what it is. So yeah, I mean, it's just really about setting yourself up for that. Just making sure you have the right foods in the fridge. It doesn't have to be hard though. Like people make it so complicated, but it's really not.
Yeah.
Like I could, if I wanted to spend the time, I could prep everything I needed in like 2 hours. It's not that hard,
Yeah.
And then let's see, what else do I do? I have a lot of alarms. I have a lot. I have a reminder to track my food because I have ADHD and it's bad. And so I forget everything. I have an alarm to track my weight. That does help. And then like, right now the weather's kind of crazy, but like sometimes if I don't have enough steps, like I take the kids to the park and they play, right? They get their energy out and I do laps right around the park while they're playing and I get my steps in. So I park at the furthest spot in the lot when I go to the grocery store to walk longer, that kind of thing. So I just kind of do what I can. And on the days, right, you just have to squeeze it in, or I'll take the boys for a walk, to get some exercise. So it's just like, you just have to prioritize it, make it happen. And even if it's in spurts, you just kind of do it. And like the gym is not negotiable for me. Unless I'm sick, I'm going to be at the gym. So, yeah.
I was also thinking one factor that some people or a lot of people might overlook is actually how important it is to have like supportive people in your life. It's not to me, it's not me to be like tooting my own horn, but I'm just saying,
no,
like,
it's huge.
It's a huge difference if like, especially if they're the people that you spend majority of your time with, right? Like in the past, you may not have had such a supportive partner or like any support in general,
100%.
But like your dad is very supportive in helping you when you need to go to the gym and stuff like that. obviously, you know, like I'm also your coach and partner, so that's a little bit unique, but I'm also not
But
an asshole.
it's huge. It's huge though. Like it's huge having somebody with the same goals as you, like to eat healthy and stuff and work out. Like our life is seamless because we're on the same path. I'm not a bodybuilder, but it's still important, right? So like we eat the same foods, we don't complain about each other's foods because it makes sense. You know what I mean? And when you're in a situation, a lot of people have partners that are not supportive, right? And I did have that partner. And like he would want to eat something different. And then I just be like, well, I'm just gonna eat what you're eating because we can't afford all these different foods. So yeah, it makes a huge difference if you don't have the support. It's awful.
And like Maddie isn't on the same path as I am, but like she recognizes it. So like we've never eaten the same food. Like everybody,
and that's
thinks
okay
that's
too.
Hilarious. And like so we like because I eat my own food, she eats her own food. We'll eat sometimes at the same time, but like a lot of times, like we've never cooked a meal together unless it was been like a treat. And and everybody thinks that's so weird, and I'm like, it's always been like that. Like she recognizes that it was important to me, so she just lets me do me, and like we roll with it. Like she knows that I have to go to the gym, and like
absolutely,
she just respects it. Like it's just like, well, that's what he does. Like I knew that it's important to him, so he can go do it.
Right.
She's like, I'm not gonna eat that, but like
well, and I'm sure when Cody's on prep and he's like literally only allowed to eat chicken and rice, it'll be a little different for me. I'll have some moments where I'm like, I'm gonna go eat something else. But it's like, you're right, Cody. It's so important to have somebody that gets it.
And they don't have to. I mean, it's kind of like in Kel's situation, like they don't have to do it, they don't have to be into it. It just goes a long way if someone is supportive, even if that is eating different foods. I feel like we need to normalize that, because like it really doesn't matter. Like we talked about before, it's not about the food, it's about like the situation. If you're still eating together, enjoying food, maybe it's different meals, you're still getting the same effect. Like you're spending time together, you're enjoying a meal together. So it doesn't have to be like this traditional, like we need to sit together as a family, eat the same thing and
out of the same bowl.
I mean, we sit together during our YouTube time before the gym, and I eat my lunch and he eats his. And I don't eat his lunch. That I eat dinner with him because I like his cooking, but I don't like, I eat my own lunch, Yeah.
Well, that's what, like, so Maddie and I started dating a week after I went into prep. So like she never knew me as not doing that. And
it's probably a good thing.
Right. But it was just like it was different. And she's like, yeah, it was kind of strange because like we couldn't just go to the bar. We had to get a little bit more creative, like with dates and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it was, but it was like just something that like you pack your own stuff. Like our second date was a picnic, and I packed my prepped meal and I brought her food.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
And like we had LaCroix instead of beer, and it was just like, it was fine. Like it was great. And I think people don't realize it's not, it might be weird. It's like a conversation. It's like one of those like quirks. Like everybody has quirks, right? And it's like, I eat out of a Tupperware every day. That's it. And and I don't cheat, or like I don't really go off plan that often. And that's just what I do. And she does something different. And it's like everybody has their own thing. Like Maddie's really into rugby and rock climbing, so like she does likes to get smashed by other people. I don't understand it, but like it's her thing. And like I'll go and watch it, and I'll put the shirt on and I'll sit in the rain and watch you get hit by other people and be okay with it. And it's just like everybody has their own thing, and it's just like I don't think people just think that they have to have the exact same hobbies as their partner, and it's not necessarily true. And like you can be supportive and not do it, and like just because I eat chicken and rice every day for every meal or whatever, like doesn't mean you have to, and doesn't mean I'm judging you for not doing that. Like everybody thinks that's so weird. Like if one person goes to the gym like every day, but someone else does their fitness in a different manner, like it doesn't matter. Like you can have different then I guess we're getting into dating now, but like it's just
No,
like
it's
all I'm trying to say is like you don't have to be on the exact same journey as someone to be supportive of them, and
right.
and just like how you're not a bodybuilder but you support Cody,
Hell
and Cody
no, I
supports you the
am
same
not a
way.
bodybuilder. I
It's
am
the
not
same
cut out for
thing.
that life.
You can recognize as though like that's a weird thing to be into, but okay, like let's do it.
I'm fascinated by it. I love it. I think
I
it's
know.
so fucking cool. I can't
Yeah.
wait for the Olympia, but
Yeah,
I
it's
am
gonna be
not,
dope.
I'm not cut out for that life.
Yeah. And it's fun.
Yeah, I was also thinking too, when people like it's probably easier to start a relationship after making changes versus making changes in a relationship that, you know, is years old, you know, because chances are you've probably formed your relationship around food or beverages of certain types. So it can feel like
Absolutely.
you are losing that person or like things are changing. It's not the same because you're not the things that you bonded on previously are things that you no longer do. So I can see where that could be really hard and cause some issues and why a partner might not be supportive because you're like, we used to do all these things and it was so fun. And now you're like, oh, I can't do that anymore. So then you have to learn new things to bond over. It's almost like you have to start fresh. And some people just don't really make it, to be completely honest, because
Yeah.
it's like they realize they actually don't have that much in common, which is not to scare everybody from trying, but it's
No,
like
it's true.
just to acknowledge the struggle of people who have been together for a while and they're just starting this, and this is how it could be harder with like cooking separate meals or figuring out how to track food if they're eating together, and that's a really common struggle for people. So I don't want to just be like, that's not an issue, like don't worry, you
No,
just
you're completely right. Yeah.
but it's
I
like
struggled with that in my marriage. Like I always felt guilty for taking extra time to go to the gym when my partner was home with the kids, and I didn't do it because of that. Like, because my partner was not into any of that. And so it was a real struggle, a real struggle, so it's,
Yeah. Well, and so I think that is one thing that I guess maybe that we are kind of glossing over. Like it is a lifestyle change. Like it, period.
Yeah.
Like it has to be.
It's a new life completely.
And so like I think just like any other major change in a relationship, it's gonna have effects and it's gonna ripple because it is a huge change. And I think like we throw it around like, yeah, it's important. Yeah, it's necessary for your health, and it is, but and we don't want to just neglect the fact that it is major, and and it does affect every aspect of life. Like you can't do anything the same. Like if food and exercise are the lifeblood of our bodies and how they function. Like so,
yeah,
I mean, it's a big deal. It's an important deal, but it is a big deal, and it is a big change.
And this is going to sound controversial, but let me just say, if you're in a partnership where your partner does not support your decision to lose weight, to eat better, to go to the gym, if they try to guilt trip you, if they try to make it about them, if they try to make reasons why you shouldn't be going and stuff like that, like that's not a healthy relationship, and it's not gonna work, and you shouldn't be with them. Honestly, like it's important to be with somebody that gets your goals and supports your goals. And I'm lucky, right, that I am dating my coach, which is like a whole other interesting thing, but but I am lucky that I have such a supportive partner. But like I never feel judged by him or anything just because he's my coach. Like I'll eat 10 cookies in front of him, I don't care. But I do know that he supports me, and he'll do anything he can to help me get to where I want to be and to help me achieve my best self. And that's what everybody should look for in a partner. And if you don't have somebody doing that for you and they're tearing you down in your choices, because I've heard of people like making derogatory remarks to their partners because they're trying to like make changes and stuff, it's because of their own insecurities. And they're totally judging themselves, and they're miserable within themselves. And so you have to really like focus on you and prioritize yourself and do what you need to do.
Absolutely. It's that mutual respect isn't there because yeah, exactly, like they think that you're judging them or they
Right.
because they're judging themselves.
Yeah. And never do I ever worry that Cody's judging me for what I'm eating. Like never, because it's like we're human. And
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's that
Yeah.
mutual respect, that mutual understanding and empathy, which is this crazy thing
What is
that I think a lot of
What?
people are missing.
That's a whole other
Yeah.
episode.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's weird though, because like, I don't know. I feel like I feel like I need to explain myself first. Sorry. I'm gonna get defensive. So like when we're together, I'm boyfriend mode. It's not coach mode.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
like I literally am not thinking, oh,
Mm-mm.
that's definitely going over her calories for the day.
No, never. Yeah.
That would
And
be
that's
so
why I
weird
don't
if
worry
that's what
about
you
it,
thought.
I
right?
know. I'd be like, I don't think we should do this. Like, you need to find a new coach. No, but like literally that is not in my mind. She is only my client literally when she checks in on Fridays, and I treat her like a client. And that is how it is. Like, even if I know everything that she probably shouldn't have eaten or ate or didn't eat or whatever, I like leave it all until her check-in. That's where I like go over everything and I leave it there. Where for like training and I know she can lift heavier, then of course I'll tell her that. Or if she's not,
He doesn't even have to
lifting
say it at
properly,
this point. I'll just look at him and I'll be like, shit, okay, put some more weight on.
she'll almost like smack herself in the face or something because it's too light. And I'm like, I think it's too light.
Almost
She's like,
flying there.
I was hoping you wouldn't see that. I'm like, well, you almost smacked yourself, so that was too light. So yeah, just to say, like, I am not this weird dictator where I'm like, don't eat that.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I don't think
No.
anybody would think that.
We enjoy ourselves together. Like
Yeah.
it's not a problem at all. I think at first we kind of talked about it, like, is this going to be a conflict of interest? But it's like, I don't trust anybody else to do this with me, because Cody's like the one person that I've ever had like not judge a thing that I've done or put in my mouth, or eaten. Sorry, that sounded really bad.
That was
I walked right into that one. Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, anyways, definitely recommend Cody as a coach, and congratulations on starting your business.
Oh,
Kel.
thank
I'm
you.
so excited for you.
Got my little website up. I'm very excited.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Did you have anything else you wanted to tell the wide world web? Des?
No, I mean, just like, don't ever let anybody tell you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Because if you really want it, you can do it. I think I'm living proof of that.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, like, be sure you're ready if you start like a coaching situation, a journey for weight loss, because if you're not in the right mindset, if you don't have your life set up the way you need to, and like you're not really ready, it's not going to work. And no coach can do the work for you. Like, you have to be ready to do the work, and it's uncomfortable, especially at first when you're making those changes, but like, it's worth it. But you have to do the work, and you have to be accountable for yourself, because nobody is putting those cookies in your mouth but you. So I'm just saying. So yeah, but I think that having a coach has been a game changer for me. But being ready to do the work and just doing what my coach said to do. And I still don't always do what my coach says to do. Let me tell you, it's hard sometimes, but just don't stop. Like, keep going.
There's also I was gonna say, like, people don't understand too, the journey is so up and down. So I could also be like, Des, you've been my best client and my worst client at different
I have,
points in time.
absolutely. I absolutely have.
I feel like that's okay though. Like, people understand, like, you are going to have moments where you're not going to be proud of yourself probably, or you're going to be like feeling like you're failing, but that's not the end. And like, that's the difference with you, is that you didn't just quit. It was like you just kind of kept going the best you could for a while. And
Yeah.
like it took a lot of nudges, it took some like, you know, just trying different things or trying to get you jump started again. And eventually, you know, you got back into it. And that's just kind of how it goes, that a lot of people just really, really can't grasp. And something I wish I could emphasize the most, because it's like, this journey is not perfect and there will not be a perfect time for you to start. So although you should be ready mentally, I think that's the biggest key. Like if you're ready mentally, but you're like, but I work, so I have so many hours I work at with work. I have kids. I'm so busy. This is not a good time to start, even though I wish I could. It's like there will never be a perfect time.
There's never a good
So,
time.
yeah.
Never a good time. All you
Yep.
can do is try. Just and even the little things, the little differences make a difference, right?
Mhm.
Like and the progress, it's not linear, right? It's a big fucking roller coaster.
Mhm.
But it does happen. It does happen, and you just have to be patient and do the work. And like the little things, it's the little things, the little changes, you know, they add up big time. So um I've had moments where I'm like, "Ugh, Cody must be so fucking sick of me and my bullshit. Because I'm sick of my bullshit, you know? And that's when I'm like, Des, you got to get your shit together, you know? But so, and there have been times where I just didn't have it in me. And I kind of went into fucking mode for a little bit. And then I jump back on and be like, all right, dude, like, you don't want to do that, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just keep it rolling and get those
Exactly.
compounded habits. Just build and build and
Yes.
build, and eventually you'll have a whole road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Eventually you'll just like crave your new habits versus your old habits. It's almost, you know, when you talk about Texas, I was thinking like it's almost like you felt like you weren't home, like you were not in
I wasn't.
your normal habitat and stuff like
No.
that, and you're like craving your new, you know, healthier habits and environment.
Yeah.
So it just shows like how much change can actually take place over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, when I got home the other day and made my breakfast, I was like so stoked to eat my cream of rice and eggs. I was like, oh, I miss this so much. I was like, oh, like my godparents got donuts the other day, like for the first night we were there. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, and usually I'd be so stoked about that. And I was like, I want to get home to my cream of rice and eggs.
You crave your new home, not your old
Yeah,
home. You
for
outgrew it.
sure. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Outgrew your old home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a hermit crab. I did just get back from Florida, guys.
Cool.
All
Well, is there
right.
anything else that anyone has to add to the conversation, Kel, Des?
I
Thanks
don't
for
think so.
having me. It was really
Yeah,
fun
thank you
talking to
so much for
guys.
sharing with us. I know it was you're really vulnerable with us, and I just want to say I appreciate that, and willing to share your story with our audience. I think it's really inspirational, and I think you're such a badass and has such strength of character. It's just so impressive.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. I appreciate that, Cal.
Cool. Well, should
Yeah.
I move on to the quote, the power
Let's-
talk?
Let's hear our power
Yeah.
talk for this week.
Okay. So today's quote is your reading and research supplementing your actions or substituting for them? Research is useful until it becomes a form of procrastination. And I love this because I feel like people do this with fitness all the time. Like they overthink it and they never actually get started, but they like feel like they're doing something because they're researching what they should do. But then there's like this, they get frozen because it's like overcomplicated, never start. So you know, as James Clear says in his book many times, it's like it's a form of motion, but it's not action. It's like you feel like you're moving, but you're not really going anywhere. So if you're researching like the best supplements to take for muscle gain, like chances are you are procrastinating. Stop that and actually go fucking work out, because that's the only way you're actually going to make progress. It's not what's in the supplements or like the perfect pre-workout or the perfect shake. It's literally like focus on taking action by moving your body or feeding your body with nutritious food, and you know, less research. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's good to research as long as you apply it and you're not only researching, but just don't paralyze yourself by like overloading with information and then never getting started. So
Buying all that useless equipment on Amazon that you're never going to touch.
yeah, like the shake weights. Here's how you know if you're just doing motion habits. It's shake weights, thigh blasters, probably actually even a treadmill, because generally treadmills just sit there and you don't get much mileage on them.
It's true. Just go
I've
get up and
used
go for a
mine.
walk.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think it's the same thing with like when people like go online and look, are they natural or are they taking drugs? And it's like,
Yes.
what the fuck does it matter? Are you doing either? Then
Yeah.
go work out. I don't
Exactly.
know. Like,
Mhm. Or like scrolling
Yes.
Instagram, like it's like that times where your insecurities come out and you spend all your time just like being jealous or bashing other people. Will be like, they look like that because they cheat and stuff like that. It's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life?
You cannot cheat your way into like bodybuilding or like
No.
muscular or anything. No,
No.
it never works out.
nope,
No.
The easy route never works.
never.
No.
And just set you back.
It's very true. Yeah. So,
But that was a good one,
anyways,
Cody. I liked it.
Good job, Cody.
thanks. Took me 5 minutes.
All right. Well, here's to next time. We'll see y'all. We'll be back again next week. So toodaloo.
Toodaloo. Bye.
That was really
Bye.
cute, Kel.